Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Muhammadil Ameen wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Brothers and sisters, this will be my very first live stream, which I am going to do in English language. Although before that, I had done some streams in English language, but they are mostly, audiobooks. So this is very first time that I am doing a stream in English. I'm not very much comfortable with this language because I don't speak English very much in my day to day life. So I excuse in advance for the very boring, uh, if I get very boring during this stream due to my communication problem. So pardon me for that. Inshallah, tonight we are going to discuss about the recent, as you can see also from the title of the stream and from the picture and thumbnail, that this stream is going to be about a YouTube channel named Muslim Skeptic. And this channel recently has uploaded some streams. For example, let me share the screen with you. So it has uploaded some streams recently. For example, episode number 29. Let me just change the screen here so that you can see it more clearly. So this is chapter. Sorry, this is episode number 29, and this is 3 days ago. So the owner of this channel named Daniel Haqiqatshow posted this stream, which is titled that Madkhalis crash out on Palestinian resistance, and he had made a full episode out of it. It's more than 2 hours, and let me show you another. Let me show you here the playlist. Actually, as you can see, this is the playlist. This is the episode 28, which is about the sectarian brain rot, in which he has said that whoever disagrees with him is simply a sectarian Muslim. This is, the summary of his video. And before that, in episode 27, he talks about Syrian civil war and talks about Sunni Shia alliance. And in this video, if I summarize this video, as I had already discussed this video before in Urdu language, but for the sake of English audience, and I hope that this video will reach this channel Muslim Skeptic. So in this video, in the civil war video, let me just show you what this the real tab of this video. This is the no, this is sectarian brain rot, and this is actually the Syrian civil war. And you can see that in this video, if you watch this whole video, you will see that his point is that we have to alliance with the Shia, and we have to support Iran against Israel. And he criticized the Sunni countries like Jordan in this, Saudi Arabia, and other countries. But in my knowledge, because I had watched more than half this video, he has not even speak a single word against Iran. He criticized Bashar al-Assad in this video. He has criticized every Sunni country almost which is near Iran, but no word against Iran in this video. So what he is actually trying to convey in this video is that there is civil war in Syria, and Iran has participated in this civil war purely on the basis of geopolitics. It has nothing to do with sectarianism. Stop saying that Iran, killed people for Shia Sunni thing. It has just, some geopolitical benefits in Syria. So it, killed Muslims for it. Now, this is very stupid. It sounds very stupid. And if you uh, ponder over this thing which he has said, it's literally very nonsense, because we agree that there are geopolitical benefits to Iran in Syria. But saying that everything Iran has done, it has nothing to do with the Shia Sunni. So they are supporting Bashar al-Assad because they want Bashar al-Assad there. So why they are supporting Bashar al-Assad? Why don't they support the Sunnis? Because they know that Sunnis are never going to align with the Shia, most of them. And that's why they support Bashar al-Assad there, because Bashar al-Assad is also Shia. So to control Syria, they need another Syria Shia militia or present Syria government. It's also an sort of Iran proxy. And if you see the Middle East map, I will show you the map here. I hope that you are able to see it. If we see here, you can see the map. There are two big regions in this area, or two big powers in Middle East. So here is Saudi Arabia and here is Iran. Now, if you look at the map, you will see that. Let me zoom out. Near, in between Iran and Syria, there is Iraq. So in this area, Iraq, there are majority of Shia population, and after Saddam Hussein, Iran has supported the Shia militias there, and they had always tried to establish a Shia government there. And Iraq shares border with Saudi Arabia, as you can see. Now, in Iraq, there was the rise of many groups. Like we all know that there is a rise of ISI here, which later on becomes ISIS. So when Syria Civil War started in 2011, some militia, various groups moved to Syria to fight. And in Syria, there is a Shia government already there. So Iran had both these areas covered now, this Iraq area and Syria area. And this Lebanon area, which you can see on your map, here is very, it is foothold of the Hezbollah, which is another proxy of Iran. So in this area also, there are proxies of Iran. And if you see from this side, there are only few Sunni countries here, like Jordan is here. Uh, Palestine is predominantly Sunni, and Egypt is also a Sunni country. Saudi Arabia is also a Sunni country, predominantly. UAE is also Sunni country. So during 2011 Syria civil war, Iran has supported the groups that are fighting against the majority of the Sunnis there. Because in 2011, as most of you would have already known, that there was a civil war against, uh, the rulers. There is a movement in Middle East called Arab Spring, in which various countries try to, you know, throw out their rulers, because they say these rulers are tyrants, etc. Excuse me for a moment, please. I'm sorry, it was a very important phone call. I had to attend it. So, what I was talking about the Syria civil war. So, when Syria civil war happened, Iran, uh, give arms, give financial support to these groups that were fighting with other groups there. Because the people here in Syria, the majority of the population in Syria are Sunni, and they want to overthrow the government of Bashar al Assad here. Okay, but Iran didn't let that happen because it's quite obvious. Because if Syria is, uh, goes under a Sunni ruler, it will cut Lebanon from Iraq. And we know in Iraq there is a foothold of Iran. But if Lebanon is cut, then this will create a problem, because in Lebanon also there are Iran proxies. And the point I am here trying to make is that everybody knows that Iran and its proxies want Shia dominance in the region, and they want to be a leader, and they have only one rival which is equivalent to them in power. Not actually equivalent, because I think Iran is more powerful, and this is Saudi Arabia. Now, in Yemen, if you see the map very carefully, there is also, let me show you Yemen here. This is Yemen. It also shares border with Saudi Arab. Here is another proxy of Iran called the Houthis. So they are also threat to this region. Actually, in Yemen, there is also Sunni majority population, but Houthis has, uh, you know, taken over this country, and it's in control of Houthis now. And they are also the proxy of Iran. So if this Oman region gets influenced by Houthis, then UAE is also under target. So this area, if you look at the map very carefully, which I have explained to you, you will see how Iran is, influencing this region, how it wants to dominate this region completely. And we know after 1979, Iran has continuously tried to, uh, you know, export its ideas, export its ideology to other countries also. And this is the reason why Arab Spring has happened in the first place. Because if you listen to Daniel Hakikatshows podcast, you will, simply believe him. If you blindly follow him, you will think that Arab Spring was out of air. It has nothing to do with Iran. No, it has its roots in ideology which has dominated Iran from 1979. Because the reason why Jamaat Islami group in India, we call it Jamaat Islami, but in uh, Arab countries they call it Ikhwanul Muslimin. So Ikhwanul Muslimin is also have the same ideology, that they believe that, you know the main motive of the religion is to establish the rule of Allah. Their they say that the main objective of the religion is to establish khilafat, in other words, in simple words. But the Iran, the revolution which has happened in Iran, they don't have this kind of ideology, because they are 12 verse Shias mainly. And 12 verse Shias believe that there are, 12 imams, and imam is a divine position, and imam is being chosen by God himself, and imam is masoom, that is, he don't make mistakes, etc. And people or Muslims cannot live without imam. So they have different kind of ideology. But Khomeini, he also has good connection with these type of people who are into this equality type of thinking. Like if you see from India, we have a very big scholar of this uh, ideology called Maulana Maududi. So Maududi has praised Khomeini for his ideas, his revolutionary ideas to throw out the kings, throughout the senior kings of Muslims, and bring revolution, and bring Islamic rule or khilafat to every country. Now, bringing Islamic rule in Islamic states is praiseworthy. Nobody will dispute with it. But what's the method of uh, getting this Islamic rule? Is it by you are overthrowing any Muslim ruler by force? For example, in Saudi Arabia, we know that there is the governance of Saudi uh, family, Al Saud. Now, we all know that it's a kingship, it's a monarchy, and only the family members of this family is getting a chance to rule over Saudi Arab. But there are also shortcomings of these rulers. Like for example, recently many policies of Arab has been challenged by Muslim world, like especially of the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, who has bring you know cinemas there. Many concerts had happened in Saudi Arab, because these things are proven, nobody can deny them. And Islamically they are also wrong. A Muslim should not do these kind of things, especially a Muslim ruler who is waliul amr of the uh, Muslims. So as an Amir of this region, they had committed various mistakes. But the type of result which some people trying to infer from it, that's various people, they say no, 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 all Saud are not good, they are bringing this into the country, they are like that, and Dubai's ruler is doing this, they are doing that, and they are puppets of USA. So all this criticism you can heard it from any Muslim today in the Muslim world, whether you are living in a subcontinent or any other region of this world. These are very common things which all of us here in our day-to-day life. And there is reality to it also, because as we all know, every Muslim disagrees with some of the policies of the Saudis or Dubai rulers. But generally, as a Sunni Muslim, the principle of the Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah is that we don't rebel or revolt against the ruler. We don't revolt against the ruler. It's called khuruj in Arabic, because this is against the principles of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. As long as ruler is Muslim. Now, there is also controversy over this, because some people say that if ruler doesn't rule according to the book of Allah, then he's a kafir, so he doesn't remain Muslim anymore. So it's permissible to go and do khuruj against him. And some people say no, no, there is a concept in Ahl Sunnah wal Jamaat of kufr duna kufr, that is which is not uh, major kufr. In other words, they are saying that it is minor kufr. So there are various scholarly discussion on this. But Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah agrees that if the ruler is sinful, if the ruler commits sins, so if he is praying, because it's also in hadith. There is an explicit hadith of Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam that don't revolt against the ruler as long as he prays, and don't commit open kufr and disbelief, open disbelief, as long as there is no open disbelief from the ruler. So this is the principle which some Sunnis are propagating openly. They are saying it to the common masses, to the common Sunnis everywhere, and through the internet they also convey this, that you can't rebel against the ruler or revolt against the ruler because it's against the principles of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. And we know that principles of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah are derived from Quran and Sunnah. They are from the book of Allah and from the sayings of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. They are not something made up things. So now all the Sunnis agree on this. The people who know about the uh, basic principles of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, they all agree that it is not permissible to revolt against the rulers. And even Daniel, this man here, he will also say in front of the public that I am not a Khawarij, because the term used for the people who revolt against the rulers, even if they don't commit kufr, they are called Khawarij. Now, Khawarij has this takfiri mentality. Now, it is not necessary that a person is a total, complete Khawarij, because there are also gradients to it. For example, there may be some traits of Khawarij in some person. For example, Ibn Hajar al Asqalani, rahimahullah, has mentioned in his book that some people are sitting Khawarij. They incite the people against the ruler by sitting. They don't do khuruj themselves, but they incite the people. They arouse the emotions of the people in the way that people themselves go and revolt against the ruler. They don't explicitly say it. So these are called sitting Khawarij. And this has also an Arabic term which I forgot this time, but this has been used by Ibn Hajar al Asqalani, rahimahullah. Now, this Madkhali term, which has been very frequently used by this guy, Daniel Haqiqatshow, actually, these people say Madkhali to those Sunnis who doesn't promote the ideology of revolting or revolution against the Muslim rulers as long as they are Muslims. Because they say that there are lots of hadiths and many scholars have written about this, and this is also the principle of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. I already told you that as long as the ruler, the Muslim ruler, is not committing open kufr, and as long as he's praying, there is no revolt against him. It's prohibited. It's explicit hadith of Prophet Muhammad alayhi salam. You can check it on Google if you know type these words that I'm saying. But this term madkhali has been frequently used by this guy Daniel to show that it's uh, a kind of sect, which is a new sect in Islam. And his recent debate with Shamsi of Dasdawa, as you can check on internet, there is a debate between these two, between Daniel and Shamsi, on this, that when he used the term Madkhali, so Shamsi challenged Daniel to show that the Madkhalis are a sect, and uh, this has been declared by scholars. So, in short, Shamsi was asking Daniel to provide a proof that Madkhalis is a new sect, but Shamsi wants him to show it from a scholar, show it from any scholar. You know, a scholar should testify it, because it's not any XYZ like Daniel is an XYZ. He's nobody in Islam. He has no Islamic knowledge. He's, he doesn't even have basic knowledge of the uh, Aqidah. and he has multiple times shown it in his videos and accepted this fact himself. So Shamsi told Daniel that prove me that Madkhali is a sect, and this has been declared by the scholars. Show me in the books of the scholars where they have mentioned that Madkhali is a new sect. Because anytime a new sect is created, the scholars warn the people about it. They wrote about it. They write about it. But if you go through this debate, you can go through it. You can search this debate between Shamsi and Daniel. And before that, Daniel was caught by, uh, you know, uh, I don't remember the name of this Mufti. I think it's Mufti Usman ibn Farooq. So Mufti Usman ibn Farooq, he also asked Daniel about his, what he believes, to which school of thought he belongs. So Daniel doesn't say things explicitly because, in my opinion, he has this ideology that if you reveal yourself to people, if you reveal your beliefs to the people, then they will, label you as sectarian, etc. But I don't think he's too extreme in this because he has criticized s- various people on his channel. He has criticized, liberals and all these kind of other people like atheists, or also among the Muslims, he had criticized some deviant imams, which is really a praiseworthy work from him. But cutting the long story short, Daniel attacks the so-called Madkhalis, which is a sect in his mind. Uh, so he attacks some particular, dawa persons, and try to show them as if they are, agents of Israel. They are supporting Zionism. They are supporting Israel. They are supporting, the uh, they are supporting the terrorism of Israel against the innocent people of uh, Palestine, the innocent civilians. So if you see this video, I think this video is very long. This is 2 hours and 20 minutes. It's very long video. No, nobody has this kind of patience that he will watch this whole video. So I will, fast forward, and I will not play all the video because I had watched it already for almost 1.5 hours. And this is a very lengthy process, but I only want today to focus on this video, mainly Madkhali's crash out on Palestinian resistance. I will pick some of the important points that he says here, and I will respond to it. And then second, I will move also to this video, which is called the Syrian Civil War Shia Sunni Alliance. I will also highlight some blunders he made in this, which is episode 27. And also, I will briefly touch this sectarian brain rot video, which shows that how shallow his understanding of Islam is really. So this is episode 28. So with the permission of Allah, inshallah ta'ala, today I hope that Lord will help me in this. So I will begin with this. I think, begin with Syria Civil War first. Because I will go in sequence. This is episode 27. So let me just speed it. So playback speed is 1.5, and let me play it.
Talking about nonstop, especially the past week. The divide and conquer strategy, divide Muslims along sectarian and ethnic lines so that there's constant civil war. So I've said it. You've heard me talk about the Yanon plan. You've heard me talk about posts about why Lebanon is actually a part of Israel. They're brazenly saying it now. Yeah, we are interested in taking over Lebanon and Syria and Jordan, and so they're openly saying it. It's not a conspiracy theory. They quickly deleted that article. Because it got backlash from probably Zionists who are like, don't spill the beans. Like, why are you, revealing our hand, like our future plans? So we did talk about that article in depth. I read it. So go to the previous episode, I think episode 26, where we discussed it. But today we're going to watch a short video about 13 minutes long, where someone else talks about the details of Greater Israel and how even the founders of Zionism, who were not necessarily religious, they were secular, believed in the Greater Israel concept because of the Bible. So we'll talk about nonstop. There's constant civil war. So I've said it. You've heard me constantly. It's like all this kind of moronic claims that they make. That's
Okay, I will fast forward video sometimes because these are not points that are relevant to me, because there is no disagreement about these points. Everybody knows that what kind of state Israel is. First of all, to begin with, Israel is itself an illegal state, which was, you know, the mistake of the Europeans was thrown upon the Arabs. The Arab Muslims' land were taken, and it was given to these Zionists, which say that, you know, every religion or Judaism should have their own country. The Jews should have their own country. This kind of ideology. Actually, this is more deep than that. Everybody knows that this area is, sacred to them for all the three Abrahamic religions. So there is no surprise to that. And there was a long planning. Nobody, believes among the Muslims that it happened in 1947. That only in 1947 the Israel was willing to make a state. The Jews were willing, uh, because we already know that this is a very long plan, and it has been implemented in 1947 when the Europeans had kicked them out of their continent and throw them into Arab, and United Nations had divided the Arab state, which I will show you here. Let me just share this. So this is the map. You can see this state of Arab was divided into two by United States, into Palestine and Israel. But only two areas in present is called now Palestine. This is the Gaza Strip. Very little, you can see, amount of land is remaining for Palestinians, and this is another part. Let me zoom. This is the West Bank. So only these two, small chunks of land are for the Palestinians now. Now, let me just go back to the video quickly.
standards just for their bottom line, not because of any kind of ideological belief or purity of cause or trueness to a liberal or woke cause. So this double standard, hopefully the left has, and they recognize that. I tell you. Anyway, that's why it's important to subscribe to the newsletter. Bogus claims like we are supporting clear.
Sorry, I had played the wrong video this time. I had to go to this video, Syria Civil War.
And us. So let's go into this video without further ado and see what someone other than me, what other than Daniel has to say. This corroborates. Like, obviously, I don't know this channel. It's Breakthrough News. You can go and watch their videos and stuff. And almost 500,000 Israel and how that explains Israel's behavior today. So let's go and see that. Also, if this
now he will show Greater Israel. What is Greater Israel? What is Israel is trying to actually achieve. So I will skip this part and I will move to the part, because everybody knows about these things already. Nobody disputes them. We already know that they have this expansionist ideology, Israel, to take more and more land from the Arabs. We will move forward and we will jump to actually very big video it is.
approach of Israel and the U.S. Much
to bloody sectarian civil war by manipulating balances between the Shia and Sunni Muslims.
So what here he's trying to show in this video, through this video, is that the people of the American government and the Israeli government were supporting this civil war, and they want to extend it. Because, for example, in Syria, they supported the rebels. That is, they means the Israel and United States support the rebels, and they also say that to balance power, when they see that Sunnis are dominating, they give weapons to Shia, and when they see that Shia are dominating, sorry, yes, Shia are dominating, then they give weapons to Sunni. So they are balancing this. So they want to prolong this conflict as much as possible. This is what he's saying, trying to say in this video. I had to summarize it for you, but you can also see it for yourself.
In Syria,
Do you hear that? Manipulating the balances. That's their approach. That's the approach of Israel and the US. They manipulate the balances. So sometimes they will support the Sunni side, sometimes they support the Shia side. Now, some of these Madkhalis, and I don't know, like some of the non-Madkhali Sunni sectarians, I don't know if it's like an intelligence problem.
Some of the Madkhalis and some of the sectarian Sunnis. He's portraying these people who are, against the Shia ideology. He's portraying them as if they are, sectarian. As if they are doing something bad. I condemn violence. Everybody condemn violence, whether anybody is Shia, whether anybody is XYZ. We don't have any concern with anyone. Lokum deenakum waliyad deen. For them is their religion, and for us is our own religion. But the point here is this, that if the civil war has taken place in Syria, and then there is the fight between Sunni and Shia there, and lakhs of Sunnis were killed in Syria in 2011 civil war, and Iran was involved in this all the time. They are supporting the government there. They are supporting the Shia militia there, the Shia government there. So he has nothing to say against Iran. If you watch this whole video, he has nothing to say against Iran. But he's saying, these Madkhalis, these Sunni sectarians, yes, they are sect. This is sect. You can't, disagree with it. There is the division of Sunni and Shia in Islam. It has happened. You can't do anything about it. It has happened, and there Daniel believe Ahle Hadith are Madkhali. Well, I also think that he also believes it, but I don't think he, used this term for all Ahle Hadith. I had watched his video. Maybe he believe it, but openly he said now some Salafis are Madkhali, not all. So I don't think he believed that all Ahle Hadith are Madkhali. And I had also talked about it. You can watch the video from the beginning. I had talked about these things, that what this Madkhali term is all about, and why he target these so-called Madkhalis. But the point here is this, that you can't do anything about the Shia Sunni division. What you can do is to keep peace. Nobody endorses violence against any group, whether it's of any Muslim sect or any non-Muslim or any other XYZ. Nobody endorses violence. And Islam also wants peace. But when things get out of your hand, for example, in Syria civil war, there was a civil war, and Iran was actively supporting the killing of the Sunnis there. They were actively supporting Bashar al-Assad. They were actively supporting the Shia militia there, which is killing the Sunni militias there, or killing the Sunni side there. So nobody, can say that this is only geopolitical. It has only geopolitical. As you can see in this video of Daniel, after a few minutes, he will say that no, this is only geopolitical. But let me just hear some more things
or
from
a
him.
comprehension problem, but they keep pointing out things like, oh, but Israel supported the Shia side in this war. Israel and the US gave weapons to the Shia side in this conflict. Yeah, no duh. No one's denying that. We are completely aware of the fact that sometimes it's the Shia that are getting the weapons and the Shia that are getting the support. But the point is that this is a manipulation strategy to balance both sides. You don't want one side to just dominate and win. If one side, if the Shia are getting too strong, you're going to tip the scale in favor of the Sunnis. So you give them weapons, you give them intelligence, you give
which I had already discussed this, that Israel and US were, balancing the power there. They don't want any clear winner in this conflict because they want to prolong it. Okay, all right. Nobody says that US is, they are very good uh, people. Nobody says that Israel is, Israel thinks good of Muslims. Nobody, even children, know that what these countries are all about.
Give them training so that the Sunni side comes up and you're evenly matched again. If the Sunni side starts going up and getting more powerful and starts to dominate them, these lands of Syria and the lives of your soldiers and the resources of your people to go and conquer, you want that to be as low a bar as possible. So ideally, you want them to just wipe each other out. You want them to wipe it. They don't wipe each other out if one side just wipes out the other side. That's not accomplishing your goal. That's not each other. So difficult to understand because no matter these dunderheads, what other euphemisms can we use? That will say, oh, but Iran was funded by Israel. Iran got weapons. The Shia actually, Hezbollah actually got weapons. Yeah, we know. We know that. You're missing the point. Like, you're not actually conversant with the point that has been made because you're so stuck in this kind of sectarian brain rot that you can't see beyond that. You can't see the larger master plan behind that. And that's a failure. Like, it's a failure.
Yes, there was a master plan. You're right. Nobody is denying that Israel and America had no role to play in this. But you are trying to give it another color here. For example, when the civil war started in Syria, it started against Bashar al-Assad because the majority population was Sunni and they were not being given their rights. And Bashar al-Assad was a tyrant. Now, when people revolt against him, which I don't support, because if revolting results in the destruction of Muslim property, life, or honor, then it is prohibited. I don't endorse this revolution thinking if it leads to the harm of the Muslims and Islam. Now, in Syria, we see that the people actually want to apply the model of Iran and Ikhwanis because Iran is also believe in this revolution thinking. So now when people revolt against Bashar, so they don't have any power. Even the military revolted against the Bashar. Even 30 or 40% of his military turned against him. And it turned into a bloody civil war. Everybody knows about it. But the point to be understood by people here is that why civil war happened in the first place? Because people in Syria, they were Sunnis, they were denied of their rights, they were, under a tyrant. But when people revolt against him, then Iran came and, start supporting this tyrant because they don't want him to get out of this place. Because everybody knows, as I had already shown you the map of the Middle East, that if Syria is taken over by the Sunnis or any kind of Sunni government, then Iran can no longer control Syria. And cutting Syria means the Lebanon will also cut from it, which you can see on the Middle East map that I have already shown you. Now, there are geopolitical angle to it. But if you are saying that if Bashar al-Assad was a Sunni and the people of the Syria were Shia, then will Iran, kill the people of the Syria then if they were Shia? No, they will not. Because it has a religious, it has a sectarian color to it. And he is saying that the people who are saying it are sectarian brain rots. Actually, you are a brain rot, Mr. Daniel. You don't have the basic intelligence to understand these things.
Failure of intelligence, but I also think it's a moral failure because you should not be this easy to manipulate. You should not be this easy to manipulate. Those who are actually manipulated, a lot of these are just agents. Israel floods social media with people.
So he's saying that a lot of them are agents. Whoever says that Iran has killed the Sunnis to, make this area a Shia dominant area is an agent. Well, most of them are agents according to Daniel. But unfortunately, you can see this is the reason of his fallacious reasoning, because he couldn't comprehend the situation here. And the reason, what is the actual reason behind it? Maybe it's emotions, or maybe he's actually an Iranian agent. I can't say, wallahu alam.
Who are not really Muslim but pose as hardcore sectarian Muslims to rile up as much animosity of both sides as possible. So discounting those who are actual agents, you have a bunch of people who are just, again, they're suffering from an intelligence failure or a failure of their intelligence and a moral failure, because they don't recognize that they're falling into the grand strategy of those who want to destroy Islam, destroy the Ummah, and take all Muslim lands.
Israel held an official position of neutrality, but later admitted to arming the mostly Sunni rebels while simultaneously carrying out regular attacks against the government, which was controlled by Shia Alawites.
Now here Daniel is saying that people are not understanding the grand plan, because countries like Israel and America, they want to take over the Muslim lands. Now, this is true. Nobody is denying that Israel has bad intentions or America has bad intentions. Nobody is denying it. But what the point so-called Madkhalis or so-called Israeli agents are trying to make is that Syria civil war also has the angle of the Shia Sunni angle. It has also Shia Sunni angle, because if the people of the Syria were all Shia, then Iran would not have helped Bashar in killing them. Why would they kill their own Shia? Even if you say that it is purely geopolitical in nature, still it is problematic, because then you are saying that for geopolitical benefits, Iran can kill Sunni Muslims. So what's the point of getting an alliance with them if they are ready to kill the Sunnis in favor of a geopolitical benefit? So what's the point in making an alliance with such people? So it is clear that Daniel is not comprehending what he's saying.
In a situation where neutrality actually meant for Israel undermining both sides in a civil war. And
there you go. Let's watch that again for those who didn't catch and didn't understand. So in Syria, like, what was the Israeli plan? Was it to just arm one side so that one side wins?
Of a war by manipulating
dumb.
In Lebanon. After the 1919 Paris Peace Conference,
we already had gone through this, that Israel was doing this and that in that region, and I had already discussed it, that nobody supports Israel, or nobody says that Israel is a very good country, it has very good intentions for Muslims, it wants good of Islam or Muslims. Everybody knows that they don't have good intentions. It's not something new. And what was their role in the Syria civil war? Nobody denies it. But the person who is denying it, but the person who is, hiding the truth is you. Because you are saying that Iran has no Shia Sunni angle in Syria civil war. Now, this is one of the stupid statements that I have ever heard in my life. Assalamu alaikum, Abdullah VFX. Welcome, brother. Will you join the stream if I share the link with you? I will share the link for you, because I want someone to join me today, because the stream is going to be very long, I think.
an American fact-finding mission was created.
So we'll address all of those, but we have to understand the issue of the Syrian civil war. That's a topic that I want to focus on next. But before I do, I want to look at your super chats. So let's take a look at what some of you guys are saying.
Now he has to look at the super chat.
It seems to them that's why now they're going to Lebanon.
Go to Syria civil war directly. We are not going to watch his super chat section. We'll directly go to Syria civil war and what his comments are about this. How he will justify the killings of Iran in Syria. Okay, no problem.
But yeah, so there's no comparison between what Zionists want to do and what Islam says. That uniting with Shia all or any point spectrum in these some of intent out of line. That if that's something that's extremely complicated and controversial, and you have to really do research to understand the situation. But after years of research, following the situation, talking to many people, and then more recent events that have come to light, especially when it comes to Israel's plans and what they're doing in the region, I think I have a better sense and a better grasp of the whole situation and what is causing this conflict.
Now, Mr. Daniel will tell us that what is the actual reason of the conflict between Sunni and Shia.
Specifically between these Sunnis who say that we can never have any kind of alliance with Shia. What is that really based on? So here's a slide that might be.
Now, the people who are saying that we are never going to have any kind of alliance with Shia are facts. Because they know what Shia are doing for all these years in Middle East also. What Iran and its proxies are doing. Because they have common sense.
So basically, there are two views here. There are two, if you look at the vast majority of regular lay Muslims who talk about the Syrian civil war, they take one of two positions. Either they take the position of the Syrian government and the supporters of the Syrian government, which is to say that Israel and the US secretly created a rebel movement to topple the great leader.
Now he is saying that here there are two theories regarding the Syria civil war. One is the Assadist theory and second is sectarian theory. I don't know what its source is. Because I highly doubt that these are the only two positions. Actually, Israel and US, this Assadist theory, it's also, I don't think it's also complete. Because if somebody is going to, criticize Israel and US to secretly create a rebel movement against Bashar al-Assad, what about the history of the Syria? What about, the rights of the Sunni Muslims there before 2011? Why was the Sunni Muslims in Syria were not satisfied with Bashar al-Assad in the first place? Is it that simple that Israel and US come and people rebel against al-Assad without any reason? And second, he has, said that there is a sectarian theory that Assad and Iran have joined forces to genocide Sunnis and expand Shia domination. Now, he has sort of created a dichotomy here because only these two options, among these two options, there would be something is going to be true. But he doesn't even himself accept this because if we play this video further, you will see that he says that there is partial truth in both.
Bashar al-Assad. That's that side. A lot of people fall on that side. A lot of Shia partisans, Iranian sectarians, they fall on that side. They think that, well, you had this great leader, Bashar al-Assad, and then the CIA and Israel want to take control. They want to neutralize another anti-Zionist leader. So they created and fomented a sectarian, or rather a civil war, in order to topple the great leader, like they've done in other countries throughout their history. That's one theory. And you have hardcore partisans that this is the only thing that they accept. This is their entire interpretation. Then you have people on the other side who tend to be more Sunni, and they say, no. What's really going on with the Syrian civil war is that Bashar al-Assad and Iran have joined forces to genocide Sunnis and expand Shia domination. That's really what's happening. That's how we need to understand the Syrian civil war. And anyone who disagrees with that theory is a secret Shi'i, is a Assadist, is a agent of Iran, is a Khomeini bootlicker, on and on. Right? There's only, the only correct view is our view that it's Iran and the Syrian government that just wants to wipe out Sunnis and dominate us. So which one is correct? Which view is actually the truth? And the thing is that both sides are so partisan that if you veer or you deviate from these two theories by even an inch, they're going to slam you, they're going to dogpile you, they're going to make all kinds of accusations against you.
Now, who are these people? I want to know about these people. Why don't you have mentioned these people? Or when you have put this these two theories on your video, why don't you give any reference that which political scientist says it or which scholar says it that there are only two theories regarding this? I want to know which are these people who you disagree with any of the theory, and they will attack you, etc. I want to know who are these people.
And what makes it so difficult is that there is truth. There is partial truth to both theories. There's a partial truth. There's like a nugget of truth in both theories. So you have a kind of confirmation bias on steroids, where each side focuses on that nugget of truth that exists with their theory, and they just discredit everything else that disconfirms their theory. So that creates this intractable situation where both sides think that they are absolutely correct. There is no alternative view that's possible. And whoever contradicts that theory is an agent or hates the Muslims or is working for Israel or whatever. This is the intractable situation with the Syrian civil war. And probably in the chat right now, there are people who are raging and have been raging for a long time against me because I'm saying, no, both of these theories are wrong. They have a negative truth, but they are both wrong. And I'm going to explain why. And it's not hard to understand why. If you look at the beginning of the rebellion, or let's say protest against the Syrian government, it was just like any of the other protests in the Arab Spring. The Arab Spring wasn't a sectarian revolt, or it wasn't a sectarian protest. That wasn't what the Arab Spring was about. The Arab Spring was about tyrants. It was about Arab tyrants who have dominated their people, humiliated their people for generations, and people are tired of it. People are tired of being humiliated. They're tired of being under the boot, and so they're protesting this. And it happened in Egypt, it happened in Tunisia, and it happened in Syria, etc. That's the Arab Spring. It was not sectarian. But what ended up happening is that the different tyrants reacted differently. So Hosni Mubarak reacted a certain way, and Bashar al-Assad reacted a different way. Bashar al-Assad reacted with a brutal, bloody crackdown. A brutal, bloody crackdown that should be condemned. It should be denounced, and we should call it out. Bashar al-Assad is a kafir, secular tyrant who has murdered, slaughtered countless innocent people, just like his father did. So that's when he...
And Iran helped him. Why don't you tell these things completely? Why are you not criticizing Iran? I don't understand. I don't understand that. What is the reason that you are not criticizing Iran?
He had that brutal crackdown and the massacres that he inflicted on protesters and people who were just protesting his brutality. Then that side started taking up arms. They started taking up arms for justice. They took up arms to defend themselves against this kind of massacre, this brutality. And they're justified in that. They're justified in doing that. So if I am an Assadist, if I am a crypto Shi'i, why would I say that? Number one, think about that.
But you don't criticize Iran either. You say that Bashar is a kafir, he is a tyrant. Well, most of the Shia said that he is a kafir because he is a Nusayri. What's new in this? You're still not deviated from the manhaj of the Rafidhi. You're still not criticizing Iran.
But anyway, they started taking up arms. They started fighting. Now, the thing is that remember the Yanon plan. Remember what Israel wants. This is exactly the kind of situation that Israel can take advantage of. And so they did. They did. How? By going to those rebels and arming them, training them, providing them with intelligence, providing them with weapons, assisting them. And that's true. That is something that actually happened. So those people on the Sunni side who say that, no, the CIA was never involved, Israel was never involved, this is false. They were involved. They were involved because the United States and Israel found a great opportunity to destroy Syria. to embroil Syria in this civil war and basically create a situation where Syria is neutralized, and then Israel can come and take over, or Israel can install their own tyrant to be a pro-Zionist tyrant for their own ends, for the greater Israel project. So that is a fact. So here, let me.
Now, I will not disagree to this, that Israel had some plans for Syria. Well, nobody can argue this. Although I don't have any specific information of it by myself, but I don't deny it, because it's a possibility, because everybody knows that what kind of ideology Israel has and what kind of ideology America has. So I'm not, no, no Sunni or no Shia will say you in the world that Israel is a good country or Israel policies are good. You will find no Sunni or Shia saying this in the world. Are you getting my point? So what's so special about Mr. Daniel that he's saying that Israel is bad, their intentions are not good? It's not something new he's saying.
Let me pull up the receipts for you. By 2013, the US government and the CIA was arming and training the Sunni Syrian rebels. So then the other side takes this and says, see, the whole time, the whole plot was a CIA Zionist plot against our beautiful leader. That's why I'm saying the nugget of truth. Like, there is a nugget of truth. Like, the US and Israel did arm the Syrian rebel side. That's one important point. Another important point is that the Syrian rebels did commit bad things. They did commit atrocities. That's also true. When we say that, that doesn't mean that the Assad side, the Syrian government side, was an innocent victim. No, in fact, they committed more atrocities. The Syrian army side, Bashar al-Assad's forces, committed even more atrocities. Can we acknowledge, like, okay, both sides are committing atrocities, one side is doing more? I don't have any problem in admitting that, because that's the truth, that's the fact. But the point is that when the US and Israel come in, they see an opportunity to make this a sectarian war. They see the opportunity to make this into a
No, it was already a sectarian war. Why are you, using these kind of tactics to defend Iran in all this? Because when Iran supported Assad, so they're actually supporting Shia domination in the area. Why are you not admitting it? Why are you saying that America made it a sectarian war? America will fuel it. Israel will fuel it. This is what they have to do. This is their job to do these kind of things. But if anyone is saying that there is no problem between Shia and Sunni in Syria before that, and all was started by America and Israel, this is nonsense. Yeah, they have fueled it. It's a fact.
sectarian war between Sunni and Shia. It wasn't Sunni versus Shia originally. And how could it be? Because the majority of the Syrian army is Sunni. The majority of the Syrian army has been Sunni.
Now listen to another nonsense of him, that it was not actually Shia-Sunni war, because majority of the army was Sunni. So why did the Sunni army then rebel against the government? Why 40% of the army, rebel against the Bashar, if it was not about Shia-Sunni? Why not any Shia army rebel against Bashar al-Assad?
So it's Sunni versus Sunni in Syria. How can that be a sectarian war? The Arab Spring was not sectarian. It had nothing to do with Sunni versus Shia. How did it become Sunni versus Shia? And that's what you need to reflect on. It's similar to how you had many American soldiers who went to Iraq, or they went to Afghanistan. They were fed this narrative that the war with Iraq and the war with Afghanistan is a war of Christianity versus Islam. It's a religious war. So you had these soldiers, American soldiers, energized to use, like, do you think that George W. Bush and Donald Rumsfeld invade? No, those neocons are Jewish. Oh, but they have nothing, they don't have any concern what they had in mind. But that narrative mobilized soldiers. It mobilized people to go. If you tell people the real motives of the war, then they won't accept that. They're not going to be giving that narrative. So to fight, that is one objective, or that is one benefit of creating rewriting the war, the civil war, as a sectarian one. The other major benefit is that you isolate Iran, because Iran is the main enemy of Israel, and Iran is Shia. So how can we get the...
Because Iran is the main enemy of Israel. He is saying it like all other countries in the Middle East, like they are the friends of them. For example, if you look at the Middle East map, let me show you it again. Some of the countries here had definitely signed the treaties with Israel. Like, for example, UAE has recently signed treaty with Israel, and various countries like Jordan has signed a treaty with Israel. Cairo, this Egypt country, has signed treaty with Israel. But all other countries and the countries which already had signed the peace treaty with Israel, even their citizens, they will never accept Israel. It's out of some necessity that they have done these things. Or wallahu alam, what could be the reason behind it? Maybe only God knows what's in the heart of the people. But Iran is not the only country who opposes Israel. Every country opposes them. But yes, we believe in the solution of the Palestine. We believe that the killings should not happen of the innocent people there. So to save the blood of the innocent people in Palestine, various scholars like Sheikh Albani also, doesn't agree with Intifada, doesn't agree with the Arab uprising, because he said in his video, if you watch his video on Intifada, he said that it will, only make Muslims' condition worse in Palestine. And this is what has happened. So this is the region, the Gaza Strip, in which war is happening right now. And this area is ruled by Hamas. All right. And this is West Bank. This is another area of Palestine presently, which is being ruled by PLO, Palestine Liberalization Organization. Now, this PLO doesn't agree with Hamas policy, because Hamas's policy is not political policy. It's armed, struggle. And in West Bank, the PLO believes in negotiations, political negotiations. So within the Palestine, there is not only one single party that represents all the Palestine. Because in West Bank, the PLO party that doesn't agree with the method of Hamas, and Hamas doesn't agree with them. So within Palestine, there is division created by the enemies of Palestine, actually, because they don't want this issue to be solved. And when Hamas was created after 1980s, the issue of Palestine has become more complicated, because they believe in armed struggle. And what it has done, it has given Israel only excuses to attack the civilians of the Palestine. If someone does any armed response to Israelis, then Israel retaliates and kills even more people in Palestine. And various people also had this opinion that in the beginning there should be another political party in Palestine was supported by Israel, because they know if there are internal conflict among the Palestinians. If there are two political parties here which are representing Palestine now instead of one, it will only create division. And from the creation of Hamas after 1987, only Israel has benefited from the creation of Hamas, practically speaking. Because if Hamas is going to attack and killed one or two people of the armed people of Israel, or I don't know, because many people have designated them as, many organization has designated them as terrorists because they think that they also do, suicide bombings. They also kill, Israeli civilians. But I don't have any proof for it. I can't say anything. Wallahu alam. What is the reality? But internationally, even Daniel has said it in his episode 29 that in America it's a terrorist organization. Now the point I'm here to trying to make is that when there is internal conflict in Palestine, when there is on West Bank you have PLO, in Gaza you have Hamas, their ideologies, their methods are different. So how can there be one there be one party representing the Palestine now? Because there is internal conflict. There are two parties now. And due to armed response of the Hamas on October 7, after the October 7 attack, more than 60,000 people have been killed. And it's only an government, officials record that more than 60,000 people in Gaza have been killed. Civilians. Among them are children, among them are women. So what's the maslaha in doing it?
Entirety of the Muslim world to reject Iran and thereby isolate Iran. This was a great opportunity. If we can make the Syrian civil war sectarian, then we can make it seem like Iran is a Shia nation that wants to dominate the Sunnis and wants to genocide the Sunnis, starting in Syria and then spreading to the entire region. This is a massive Shia plot. In reality, what Iran is doing is the same thing that Russia is doing. What Iran is doing is the same thing that Russia is doing. Why is Russia involved in Syria? Is Russia also sectarian?
Look at the stupidity of this man. Now he's trying to make equal Russia and Iran. Russia obviously have geopolitical interests. He's rival of United States. Everybody knows it. He doesn't have any religious interest in it. But Iran has both interests, both geopolitical as well as religious. But he's saying, no. Russia has involved in Syria civil war. So they don't have any religious angle. So Iran also don't have any religious angle now. Look at the stupidity. Look at the logical reasoning of this man. What kind of logic he is using? This is disgusting.
Is Russia also a sectarian force? So when we look at, let me pull up a map.
Let him pull up a map.
And this map of the Middle Syria has this strategic geographic significance for Russia. So if this Syrian government is going to be replaced by a government that is aligned with the US and NATO, this is a big problem. This is a big problem for us because this is one of the major points, like at the intersection of Europe, Asia, and Africa, that we no longer have influence over. So we have to defend the government here, the government that is aligned with us. It's purely geopolitical in nature. And so that's why they support the government. It's not because they have some kind of sectarian desire or they have some kind of pro.
Achha. So Party A Russia has no interest in, they have no interest in religion here. They have no religious conflict here. So Party B, Iran, who is involved in it, they have geopolitical benefit in it. So automatically they don't have any religious motive here. Now, what kind of logical reasoning he's using here? You can see that he is simply stupid. Because Iran has both benefits here. They have geopolitical benefit as well as their Shia domination, which is their religious motive. It doesn't negate it that they don't have any, religious motivation in this civil war.
Shia bias or anti-Sunni bias. It's purely geopolitical in nature. Again, I'm not trying to defend Russia, just like I'm not trying to defend the U.S. and Israel. These are actors that are just operating for their own
But you are defending Iran. This is the problem.
interests, for their own interests. So another point that I wanted to make about Russia, I lost my train of thought. So this is why Russia got involved. This is why the U.S. got involved. This is why Israel got involved. Oh, the other point, yeah. Russia, in the same way that Russia is now attacking Ukraine. Why did Russia attack Ukraine? Because they don't want NATO and the U.S. to have a foothold right outside their doorstep. They don't. That's strategically dangerous for them. In the same way, Syria becomes like a foothold, or just another place that NATO can put its bases or can exercise influence at their close to their territory. So it's purely geopolitical in nature. Then you have Saudi getting involved. Saudi is also arming the rebels. They were at the beginning. Saudi and Qatar were arming the rebels for the same kind of geostrategic interest. They want influence. You have an opportunity to topple Assad, who hasn't been playing the best with Israel. And that's not good because we want to normalize with Israel.
Look at his hypocrisy now. Iran's, all of the concerns of Iran in the Syria region, in the Syria civil war, were non-religious. They are not motivated by religion. They are only motivated by geopolitics. But when it comes to Saudi Arab, he's saying that Saudi Arab only and only funded the Sunni rebels in Syria because they want to normalize with Israel. Are you getting the point here?
So this is an opportunity. Let's arm the rebels. Eventually, they stopped arming the rebels, and that's when the rebels started to really take huge losses and start losing the civil war, because Saudi pulled out. Saudi pulled out, Qatar pulled out, and they lost a lot of support. So, but the point is that this was not sectarian in nature. Not originally, not later. It was an outside narrative that imposed this kind of idea that this is Shia versus Sunni. And we can point to so many facts that prove how it can't be a sectarian war between Shia and Sunni, because number one, the majority of the Syrian Bashar al-Assad side is Sunni. They're majority Sunni. And this argument that, but they have no choice, they're forced to. Really, so Bashar can force all of these Sunnis to be in his army, but he can't force the rest of the Sunnis who are rebelling against him to obey and come under his control. How does Bashar have so much control over one group of Sunnis but not another? No one has been able to explain that to me. Clearly, if you're a soldier, you can escape. You're given weapons. You're armed. You can do a lot of damage if you really don't want to be a part of the, this Bashar army that's committing atrocities.
So he's saying that some of the members of the, Bashar al-Assad were Sunni, so they don't rebel against him. Although majority of the army rebel against him, which are Sunni. But he is saying that some of his soldiers were still Sunni, so he is controlling them. And Iran doesn't have any religious motives in this war. And Saudi Arab also has the motive of, normalization with Israel. So they want to, took out Bashar al-Assad from this region, because Bashar al-Assad is, puppet of Iran, and Iran will, do its things through Bashar al-Assad in this region. And the Syria is close to, Lebanon. If we see in the map, you can see this location of the Syria. This is the Syria, Damascus, and sharing its border with it shares its border with Israel, and it's also shared with its border with Lebanon and also with Jordan. So they want this to kick out. Now, what about Lebanon? In Lebanon, there's also a foothold of Hezbollah here.
You really want to get out of it, you could, but they're not. Why? So that explanation, or that fact, is an inconvenient fact against this kind of sectarian narrative. The other point is that Iran is allying with Sunnis all the time. Iran is allying.
So he's assuming here that the Sunnis who are on the Bashar al-Assad side, they are not traitors. They are just normal Muslims. They are 5-time namazis. They have high level of iman. They know about Islamic monotheism. They don't have any kind of desire, or they don't have any kind of motivations of this dunya, or this worldly life, to stay in the army of Bashar al-Assad. He's assuming these things, but maybe they are traitors.
With Hamas. Iran is allying with the Palestinian resistance and arming them. Iran has trade agreements with pretty much all of the majority Sunni states. Major trade agreements, billions of dollars worth in the OIC countries. They have all kinds of trade agreements. So if Iran's goal is just to be the enemy of Sunnis and to try to take them out, then why would Iran be doing that? Now, to claim that, well, Iran is just self-interested, Iran just doesn't care about Palestinians or anyone, Iran is just trying to serve its own goals, therefore, why should we ally with Iran? Why should Sunnis ally with Iran? Like, this is a moron tier analysis.
No, this is not moron tier analysis. Actually, you are the one who is a moron. Because you yourself said that for the geopolitical interests, Iran helped Syria's government, Bashar al-Assad's government, to kill Sunnis. Now you are telling us that we have to do alliance with Iran. I mean, how is it possible if you are yourself saying that they have killed the Sunnis for geopolitical interests in the region? What they can imagine, what they can do for then religious reasons, because I don't do the Syria war has no religious motivation for Iran. Now imagine if they have a religious motivation, what they can do.
This is a really moron tier analysis because it's just assumed, like within geopolitics, a nation is not one person, right? A nation like Iran or Saudi or Yemen or Egypt is not one person with a mind and an intention. Nations, countries are a complex network of government, bureaucracy, politicians, population, civilian population, laws, foreign policy. This is a very complex